Now that we've created the character, let's get to the fun part and start adding some items. Compared to the last video, I've added a few game objects, and one of the game objects that I've added is a sword pickup. This pickup is just a standard pickup. There's nothing unique about it, but I added the sword, pistol, and frag grenade pickups. And then I also added a crate, so when we pick up the sword, we'll have something to attack. And just in case I need it, I added the demo first-person character, which is a created character from the demo scene, and this is just in case I need to reference some values. I'm hoping that I won't need to use it. So let's go ahead and start adding the first item. And we follow a very similar procedure where we first go the standard route of adding just the standard item, and then we will make it compatible with VR. So the first item that we want to add is the pistol, and I'm going to add the right pistol. With VR, you'll need to, or with two-handed VR, you'll need to make sure you add a right and a left item. And the reason why you do this is because the item can exist in either hand. And so, for example, in this case, we could have two items that are picked up at the same time, one in the left hand, one in the right hand. So we'll need to make sure we have instances for both of those items. So I do not want to add to the default loadout. The animator ID is 2, and the first person base is the right hand, which is correct, and the first person visible item is the pistol FBX. So let's select that, and the item parent is items, which is correct. This is the game object that all the items will be parented to for the, or will be a child of for the right hand. And the animator controller is the animator controller for the pistol, and we'll want to select this one, making sure that we select the one that's in the VR folder. We will be creating a shootable weapon, and it will be shooting pistol bullets. So let's go ahead and hit build. And while we have this screen up, let's go ahead and do the same thing for the left hand. And I'm doing it again just right now instead of waiting until later, just because all these values are already filled in and there's a lot of duplicate values. So we'll follow a very similar procedure, and now instead of the right pistol we want to use the left pistol from the VR folder. So now that is set up. So we've set up the standard right pistol and left pistols, and now let's make it compatible with VR by going to the items tab and dragging the item into this item field. All we have to do is hit setup, and it will change the parameters or add any components that are necessary for VR, and that's all there is to it. So just to kind of see one thing that it does is when we drag the left pistol in and look at this equip event, we'll notice that this wait for animation event will be disabled, and the reason why it does that is because you don't want to wait for any animation events for it to equip, since you're just physically picking up the object. So this wait for animation event will be disabled and duration will be set to 0. So let's go ahead and see that in action, and there we go. So that was just one of the properties that it changed. But now the right and left pistol is picked up or is set up, so we should be able to pick it up in VR now. So I got the left touch controller in my left hand, and I'm going to teleport closer to the pistol. Let's see if it could be right beneath me, and let's see if I pick it up. I picked up the pistol, so it was right beneath me, and I just am holding it now. We'll see the pistol doesn't have the right materials, and I'd say it's not positioned correctly or oriented correctly, but that's okay. That's kind of how you set up a standard item as well, so we're used to this. We'll notice that now when I let go, the pistol will just disappear, and the reason for that is because we haven't specified a prefab that should drop when the pistol is let go of. So let's go ahead and do a little bit more configuration. And the first thing that I want to specify is this drop prefab, so that when I let go it will drop a game object. And I want to drop the pistol pickup game object. This was actually from the regular demo scene, so there's nothing unique about this. And pretty much all this configuration that I'm going through now, this is just the same as the standard setup. So the next thing that we want to do is specify the positioning for the first person object. And I have these values already written down, so we don't need to go through the process of starting it at runtime and then figuring out which values work and copying those values. So we can just use these values. And actually I just used the wrong values, so make sure you use the right values for if you copied it down ahead of time. So the values that I just used was for this sword. So now there's the position, and then the rotation for the pistol is right here. And let's go ahead and set the right materials for this pistol, just so that it doesn't look like a untextured pistol. So there's one, there's 4 total for this pistol. 2, 3, more than halfway there. And 4. All right, so now when I pick it up, I should see the pistol in the correct position. It should be textured correctly, and when I drop it, the pistol should be dropped in the right area. So I'm just over it again. So I picked it up and looks like I got the wrong Y value. So let me go back and see what I messed up. So I'll go back to this right or left pistol right here, and we'll go down and we'll look at the Y value, and yeah, it should be positive instead of negative. So let's go back. We'll try this one more time, and I'll get close to it. There's my hand, picking it up, and this looks a lot better. So now I can fire. There is no muzzle flash, there's no decals, there's nothing right now just because I haven't set it up, but I'm not going to go through that since that process is the exact same as the standard controller. But we'll notice now when I let go of my middle finger to let go of the hold button, we'll notice that the character now drops the pistol. So there we go. So that worked well, and that's how you set up the pistol. We're going to set up the sword next.